like a worm in the storm. A hungry hunger inside of me. I can't be reborn. I'm a monster, spreading hate, stealing time. I'm a monster, laying base when it's cloudy. Oh, pilgrim inside of me. Tell me, what's my remedy? I'm a fraud, call me lion. A true psychopath, don't love me. When you're lost, take your trust. Yeah, that's me.
Going out to all the upstarts, rabble-rousers, change-makers, and those who are just here for a revolution, you are tuned in to WNLR, Neon Lights Roleplay, for another episode of The World Within You, our bass-boosted, spray-paint-splattered take on Voidheart Symphony by Minerva McJanda. For the next few hours, we will flip like shadows between urban playgrounds and nightmare mindscapes contained within, well, any major city in North America. If you enjoy Persona, Psychonauts, or seeing the wicked bend before the uncompromising ideals of the young, superglue that dial right where it is. Before the main event, be aware that Voidheart Symphony and the story we are about to tell will meditate on the very real evils, great and small, that people subject each other to. While our players have safety tools and a mic in the booth, if you're catching our show across the airwaves, know ahead of time that we might touch on difficult topics. Listener discretion is advised. If you ever feel uncomfortable, you can cut away and jam to something that soothes your soul, hopefully rejoining us and our renegades later. This episode specifically may cover policing, police brutality, policing underage people, gentrification and red lighting, and homelessness. Now, I have prattled on for long enough, and we have a digital studio absolutely bursting with talent. So, let's start in the top right of your screen with none other than Tate, the Terrific.
Hey, I'm so glad that I got to go first because I always have things to say all the time, always. Hello, my name is Tate Washburn. You can find me at Tate the Terrific on any social media, doesn't matter, except you will not find the places I don't want to be found. Anyways, and I will be playing, Jordan, the Harlequin, and just a hyperactive smartass with a sword, as no one is surprised. Also, I believe I have a question. Right?
Yeah, there's a question. My boilerplate doesn't have the spot for the question in it, which I will remedy soon, don't you worry. The question for our group tonight, apt, is what did your character do over winter break?
Well, I think this winter break was actually kind of hard for Jordan. He's used to doing winter sports stuff, but he has now moved to a much less wintry place. And this is his first winter away, and so his parents have to work, so they couldn't really go on vacation. He pretty much just spent it at home with his several siblings.
That's also real. We are going to skip by the spot that normally houses Lamb the Dan. He is still traveling tonight after festivities over our real-life winter break. But that means it is my great pleasure to reintroduce you to the Milan, the Mallard Man.
Hello. It's been too long. I'm so happy to be back, and tonight I will be playing Jovan, they, them pronouns for Jovan, as well as for myself. No gods, no masters, no gender. I've missed this character so much, and I'm so happy to be back. As for the question, I would say that there was a lot of reflection and reconnecting with nature is one way to put it for sure. And I think I'm gonna leave it there for that.
Yeah. Out in nature is the answer. I love that.
Ominous.
We're gonna crab shuffle one more to the left, where it's a Michelle.
Going out.
Hey, it's me, Michelle. I am playing Sushi today, our actual cat. Like, actual cat. They them pronouns today, so please respect that. And what did they do over the winter? I mean, hanging out with Neela, sort of just like, you know, toasting next to the fireplace, but also kind of just running into, well, there's Horus? Horus? How do you spell Horus?
Horse?
Horse. Something.
Horse.
But yeah,
Of
they
course,
made
with an
it.
extra U in it.
Yeah, they made
Somewhere.
a new friend.
What do the holidays look like in the Void?
I imagine that just there's a couple of spaces that are actually dedicated to individual holidays, but Horus's place is just kind of shoved with like just an amalgamation of so many different kinds. Like there's a menorah just sticking up out of the grass, like lights just coming out everywhere, and there's like this one hill that's wrapped around in Christmas tree lights with a star on top.
The hill, not the tree. That's
The
pretty
hill.
good. I like that.
Yeah. There's like a couple of
It's a hill wrapped in lights that are Christmas trees.
that are Christmas tree lights. I'm sure there are other holidays that I do not know that are in the current time, but basically it's that, and then not to mention just constant fireworks going off in the area. There's it's fine. Everything's fine. It's just loud. Horus is not happy.
All right. And we're going to take the elevator up one floor. Ding! To Leona.
That's me. Hi, hello everybody. My name is Leona, aka Leona Maple. I am playing our magical girl provider playbook, Neela. And our favorite little homely little magical girl has been, of course, spending time with. Oh my god, my brain just shut off.
Are you
Wow.
looking for the name of the
Sushi.
character?
Sushi!
Sushi.
Sushi! Of course, Neela. That was just like my brain just absolutely cut up halfway, like error 404. Neela has definitely been spending time with Sushi over the winter break, keeping Sushi warm by the fire and being cozy and cuddly and chillaxing, but also, we're pulling a Ms. Marvel because why wouldn't I? She had a trip to India over the Christmas break as well. Because that's wedding season, baby, and she had a family wedding to attend. So, you know, your girl maybe did some graffitiing in India. It looked really good on her Instagram, I'm just saying. Some pretty banger graffiti in India, of all places. Like, gotta take the Mandela's and Marigold's brand global, you know what I'm saying? So, she's had some fun. She's had some trips. She's had some downtime. She's ready to go.
Alrighty. And I, of course, am your game maestra. My name is Legendary Vermin, and I'm gonna be doing things to make their lives hard and interesting all night for your entertainment. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and imagine with us the world within you.
Insert tape 2 to continue listening.
Get used to that. I'm very happy with that sample. Welcome back to Etteridge City. We start in on a dream sequence. We can tell it's a dream from the camera because the perspective is kind of floating and shimmering around the edges. There are colors splashed in the corner of our vision, taking on shapes similar to like bright spotlights or stage lights from elsewhere. And the first thing that we see is the lens of a security camera spinning in place. It is focused on the back of a man in a convenience store. who looks left, looks right, and pockets some food off of a shelf and makes his way out. We see from the camera's perspective and then pull back to see that it is one of dozens of cameras all over the city that are being fed through the imagined infrastructure of cyberspace. We watch from various cell phone cameras and shot front cameras as this man moves through the city, finding a quiet place underneath a bridge to sit down and eat his first meal of the day. Jordan, that is your dream.
Speaking.
You wake up. Is there anything about that how does Jordan react to this like visceral and somewhat like, what's a good way to put this? Somewhat voyeuristic dream.
Just as a question, I know I've used the hangout move for the moon with his sister before, where you have like a weird vision of some kind. Does it feel similar to that? Like, can I tell it's a little magic?
You can definitely tell it's magic, but where the visions that you've had hanging out with your sister have felt like they sprang from the interaction and felt neutral. They would show you something, but they didn't judge it in any way.
Yeah.
This vision felt like it was trying to convince you of something.
Yeah, and I think also that like Jordan's dreams are generally not that cohesive. Like they're kind of extremely like chaotic colors and sounds that don't really tell a story. So I think this is almost more unsettling for that as well.
I think even beyond that, like, you know how you'll sometimes dream about something and you'll dream about like a place, but it's not really that place. You just know it's that place in your dream.
Yeah.
This is different. It is that place. It obeys the geography. You watch him walk from a corner convenience store that you know down some streets that are correct to an overpass that has some of your graffiti on it.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan's a little spooked but intrigued of like, all right, that's new, but it's not the weirdest thing that's happened to him by like a long shot. So, I mean, he's going to keep it in his back pocket. Maybe look out for that guy or those places. They might be important, but it's not like he's I mean, we're not old hat at this yet, but that's, like I said, not that odd. You're muted there. Still muted.
Hey. Cool. I think with that, I want to remind y'all that we are in the everyday actions phase of our investigation. Y'all are investigating a tier 2 vassal. They are starting out with no awareness of you, so you have a goodly amount of time to do your investigating. And right now, the information that you all had is from Sushi. That there was a stranger who somehow got into and through the green room to be walking out of the studio when they went to visit Vanda Sky. So, as a reminder, we're gonna go through everybody, and you can take 2 everyday actions or 1 everyday action and a rebel action during this period. You can see to the wolf at the door for stalling crises, check in with a rebel or another contact, look after yourself and let your hair down, realize you've taken too much on and let go, or read the wind to get a sense of the city. You can also, as rebel actions, pursue a particular goal in the city, or dive into darkness and raid the castle. Probably early to do that second one. But does anybody have a scene, everyday action, or an action or a scene that they want to kick us off with? Yeah, take it away.
I think there's certainly one scene that has to happen, just chronologically. I think a very small, dingy bus pulls back into the city, probably near-ish to the high school, back into Etteridge City, and hopping off the bus with a bunch of other, let's say, people of a similar age, but also slightly younger. Jovan, with what was once long hair, now basically shaved down, and a small rucksack over the shoulder, steps off and is back in the city.
Leona, what's up?
Can I add to this? I was gonna say I would like to read the wind, but I wanted Neela to be very literal about it and have her like standing on top of a tall building. Can I say that she is like actually like legitimately, literally reading the wind and is standing on top of a tall building and like sees Jovan coming in? Is that cool with y'all? Like sees Jovan getting off the bus. She doesn't have to come find him if you don't want her to.
I'm into that.
I would say instead of seeing it, maybe there's a different, more ethereal way, and it's like quite literally on the wind, it changes.
Ooh, I'm down for that.
Yeah, you somehow just know that Jovan's back in the city.
It smells a little bit more like cigarettes in the air.
Cigarettes and I don't know if it has a smell, but I imagine that like developing fluid has a smell to it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I speak from experience, it does. Yeah. So, I just wanted to add that note. Y'all continue. We can finish off what reading the wind looks like afterwards, but I wanted to just throw that detail in.
So, is Jovan chummy with anybody getting off the bus?
I think generally, very few of the people getting off the bus have any sort of positive emotion. Maybe there's a couple of them that are excited, but mostly it's just a general haggardness. And when you look at Jovan, there's a certain change, and not in a positive way. You can see like the eyes definitely look a little more sullen. They definitely do not look like they've been eating right. Things like that. Weathered, and perhaps slightly stronger for it in body, if not in spirit.
Is anybody at the bus stop being picked up by anybody? And is Jovan picked up by anybody?
I'm certain there are people getting picked up and shuffled into minivans and other family-sized cars, but with no other recourse but to walk at the moment, because they don't have their wheels right now, Jovan just makes the long walk back home.
And one more thing before we close that scene. You open the door to where you live. Give us the shape of whatever happens before you close it.
Ooh.
What is the scene like when you cross the threshold? Is there motion and movement? Is it still?
I think it looks like no one's really bothered to live in the house for a little while, other than people passing through very shortly, as it is a place where they go to sleep. But I think just very particularly there is a sort of dead air to it. It feels stagnant.
Yeah. We get like a lot of blue lights It seems like there's dust hanging in the air almost. There's not like a TV on or anything even when you get there. It's just open door, looking in, a breath, and a closed door.
If I can add, I think there is some sort of note or something left, which Jovan does not read, at least right now. It just goes and lays down.
Okay, cool. I don't think that counts as one of your actions, but thanks for taking us through that.
Yeah.
So, Leona, you said you wanted to read the wind.
Yes.
Is that where we want to push our focus next?
I would love that.
Okay. So, when you read the wind, you step back to get a sense of the city, and you set a scene of your rebel going through their daily life. So, you're going to pick a detail for me to introduce into this scene as you play through it, which is either a new way that our target is hurting people, an unexpected meeting with an NPC, or a sense of the overall mood of the city.
I would like a sense of the overall mood of the city.
Okay. So,
And I think what this,
set the scene for
yeah,
us.
I think what this honestly looks like is like I said, I kind of envision Neela just like climbing to the top of a building. It's probably just within her neighborhood, Parkside and or Boulevard Boulevard. And it's just one of the buildings that she has access to. And she just like goes up to like the rooftop. And then like, if there's like a little whatever tower kind of thing on that rooftop, she just like climbs up of it, kind of like a little mini Spider-Man moment. And she just kind of stands there and she's just kind of like breathing in the air. I'm going to assume that like she's just gotten back from India. And it's like this moment where she's like reorienting herself to the city, and she's like, you know, soaking in all of the sights and the smells, and she's just kind of breathing in the air and like just trying to get a feel for like, what does the wind tell her, you know, as she comes home.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the sense overall in the city that you get is one of there's always like a constant shift in Etteridge City. There's new construction sites, there's cranes going up in places, there's sometimes buildings being torn down, and the feeling that you get of this city is the sense that where previously this has sort of been a practice in like taking down an old building and replacing it with something much bigger. Generally, there is a shift in the movement of people. So people's lives are starting to be affected by this like burst of growth. You, from where you're standing, you look out and you're like, those 4 places did not have construction when I left, and it's been what, a week and a half?
Yeah,
2?
2 weeks, max 3.
The city feels like it's changing at such a rapid pace. And one of the things that you notice as you kind of drive in, even, is that there is evidence that like housing encampments for homeless people have been torn away in certain parts of the city. You see like the leftovers of like tent poles and chunks of fabric, broken lawn chairs where people would be gathering underneath overpasses, and a push of the people who are already on the fringes into other places.
Yeah. And like the changing of the skyline and everything. I think it, in addition to the hint of cigarettes, I think it all just kind of smells and tastes to her like the word prepare. And I think that is kind of what she gets from it, is like there is all of this change happening very quickly. And as the provider playbook, it's almost like, I used to joke at my family home that anytime I baked a cake, someone would come to visit. And that every single cake that I baked was preordained for a house guest, because somebody would just show up to eat it anyways. Like, it didn't matter whether someone was planned to visit or not. Somebody always showed up to eat the cake that I would bake. And it just kind of feels a bit like that, where she's kind of got the sense of like, I don't know what I'm preparing for, but I know it's going to be needed. So I'd better start preparing.
I'm just saying that anecdote from your life is the witchiest shit I've ever heard somebody say.
Yeah,
I make a cake, people show up to eat
Baking
it.
magic.
I don't know what to say.
You know, now that you put it that way,
Baking
yes.
magic.
But I've always just considered my familial house a revolving door, so like I just shrugged it off. But you're right, actually. Now that I think about it.
You're saying there's just so many people that visit all the time that it's like, well, just the odds are.
Yeah, like
If
people.
I make a cake, someone's showing up.
Yeah, like people would just swing by for whatever, because like we also ran a couple businesses from home, so like there was always somebody passing through. So like having cake available, like, you know, it was just convenient. Like somebody somehow would always show up, you know, and I would just got used to it. But you're right, it is some pretty witchy shit that I seem to always make a cake and then people would show up within that week for whatever reason to eat the cake. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Your specific brand of mystical powers aside, the other thing that you notice is that up on the roof there is a small section of vines with delicate white flowers, whose blooms are open even now in the cold of winter. And that's not, like, I know we've all seen what happens with plants in the winter, but this one is flower open, blooming, with like angry red stripes coming from deep within the flower and sort of fading to pink as it reaches the end of its 5-petaled cone.
And you said this was a vine plant?
Oh yeah, it's a flower at the end of a vine.
I think she'll take a picture of it. But
Okay.
she's not sure she wants to put it on her Instagram yet or not. But she's just going to take a picture of it. Because it kind of stands out. You know, there's probably some snow on the building too, so it probably looks really pretty. But yeah, she's not sure. She's just going to go and prepare. She's not quite sure what that looks like just yet. But I do think that is kind of her move.
Okay. Yeah, let's actually talk about some of that preparedness, because we did not get to see Neela or Jovan at the end of last episode. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about what rivers in the desert action you took?
Oh, sure.
And let's imagine what that looks like physically in the city.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I just
We're
wanted to
starting
double
with
check.
you. We'll get to Jovan and Milan in whenever they take their turn.
Sounds good. So, is that the sowing and reaping? Just point me.
This is liberation.
Yes. Oh, there it is. Rivers in the Desert Liberation. You push the castle away from your city, bringing a glimpse of equality, health, and happiness to its residents. And so I mark world, and I pick one of these options, which is to bless a new or existing location that's dear to you. Its fortunes will improve, and your hideout grows an entrance here. As a result, Neela picked Parkside Boulevard because that is her neighborhood. It is her home. And anything that she can do to bless her kind of home turf, she absolutely will. I think Parkside Boulevard, it is a lot of like apartment buildings with like ground floor shops, and a lot of them are run by families, like families that live there locally. There's little grocery stores and convenience stores. Her mother runs a cafe. Her father's got like the music shop.
Wait, your mom runs a cafe?
I think so. Didn't I write that?
You may
It's
have.
Canada now.
It's not
She runs a
something
coffee.
that.
She runs a coffee shop. I don't think we put it as a location because we haven't really touched on it yet, but I have it
Yeah.
in my notes. Yeah, my
Cool.
mom runs a coffee shop, and obviously we have the Corner Blues run by Neela's dad, and I think I headcanon that and just like wrote it down because we never actually went there. But I think that as a result, there is some economic prosperity within Parkside Boulevard. The businesses are doing well. These shops are all seen as local gems, as hidden gems. Like people from other parts of town come to Parkside Boulevard to spend their money at these locations. Like business is doing well overall. And it's good. There is that sense of like improved fortunes and prosperity kind of coming into this new year. Yeah.
Can I
and
add
somewhere There's
something?
a hideout. Yeah.
So, before we talk about the thing you just alluded to, you mentioned the like vibe is better overall. People are cheerful. That is in no small part due to the work that you all did creating community among the victims of the man who I can only remember referring to as the Clown Prince, Quentin Allegra.
Quentin.
So
Quentin allergy medicine.
Quentin's like effect on the community ultimately was positive in the end because a lot of people now knew each other through this situation and after his apology. And so there are all sorts of folks who would not have like mixed and mingled before, who you now see hanging out and building what is not quite a stoop culture, because there's or at least I'm not imagining this is a city in which most people got a stoop.
Yeah.
But there is more like, how during the pandemic, like a bunch of areas like basically took over the street parking, and then like set up like tables and chairs. There's that, but there's also certain areas that have been like marked out as like little parks.
Sidewalk cafes and stuff like that.
Yeah, sidewalk cafes, but also like perfectly public, just like spaces for people to sit and vibe.
Improve public space. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Love that.
So yeah. And then you said one last little thing as a part of that, which is that it has an entrance to what?
An entrance. Well, what does it say? Let's read this properly. And your hideout grows an entrance here.
So, your hideout is also known as the Green Room. In the Green Room, there are doors. There are new doors in there. What does the door look like from the Parkside Boulevard end?
I think it's just a door that opens up on the side of the apartment building. It's a very nondescript wooden door. Like it's an actual door that doesn't actually lead anywhere. Like anytime that anyone that's not supposed to touch this door tries to open it, it's just a locked door. Like it does not actually serve any function. If you try to look inside that building, it's just a sealed off wall. Like it seems like it's an old forgotten door from a renovation that's just like been left there.
Yeah, if somebody took like a knife to the knob, they would open it and it would just be
Wall.
Wall, concrete.
Yeah.
Well, could I suggest maybe some flavor? What if, like, either some features of it, like the knob or the whole door, look extremely realistic until someone who's not supposed to goes to reach for it, in which case it is actually a painting.
Ha! I love that. Yes.
Yeah, it has the effect of like the eyes that follow you in paintings, but
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or like that sidewalk art that looks very 3D. It's like that type of painting.
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
But it is, in fact, a real door for those who are supposed to go through it. And it's just on the side of a building.
Yeah. And I'm curious, at any point do any of you try to take people through it?
I don't think Neela's close enough to anyone that she would want to bring people through.
I think Jordan would be worried about telefragging someone, like teleporting him into a wall.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Just planting
He's
a
not
seed
desperate.
for you.
Yeah, well, look, he's
Uh,
thought about it. He's thought about it.
all right. Okay, I think that's a great place to stop that read the wind and catch up stuff. From any of our players who have not yet done one of their scenes.
I think I could both describe my rivers in the desert and do letting my hair down.
I love
If that's
this.
all right with you.
Yes.
I think let's maybe start with the let your hair down, if that's all right. It's been probably like a couple of hours since Jovan's gotten back, and they're gonna go to their dark room. You know, they got to check up on what was there. I mean, a lot of projects were left half finished when they just got, you know, so they got to go put everything back in order and see. And I think when they get to the old building, I imagine at this point there would already at least be some sort of signage for the change, right?
Yeah, so as you arrive, there is oh god, I'm trying to come up with a last name that is not just somebody's name that I already know. There's signage that basically says like the Friends of Cesar Chavez High are undergoing renovation, and they have like a little mascot, which for our purposes is going to be a cat in a hard hat. And
Is the cat sushi? Is the cat drawn like sushi?
Well, every cat's drawn like sushi at least a little bit.
Yeah, at least a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. That's up to you. That's up to your imagination. And or
We brought sushi in.
Sushi
as the model
specifically.
cat for the painter. Yes, exactly.
I think there's just a little moment of whimsy where I see this cartoon cat and I give the cat a fist bump.
I love that. And basically, what it says on the edge is that you can see that the chain link fence that used to surround Cesar Chavez High is actually open in one spot. There are still like places you're not supposed to go. However, there is a bustle of activity and some people in hard hats moving things in and out of some of the larger rooms in the formerly abandoned high school. What do you do?
I think it might behoove me to roll the lack right now.
I love that.
All right. It is a weak hit, which I don't, if I recall correctly.
Weak hit is good for something. You're gonna mark world and heal a condition.
The only condition that I have marked right now is angry, and I'm happy to remove that.
What about what you see makes you less angry?
I think, at least at first, Joe's like checking to make sure, like, oh shit, like, am I gonna be in trouble for coming up here? But I think there's not, like, no one even looks twice at someone just coming to check out the building. And I think they notice that their darkroom hasn't been touched yet, for better or for worse. Like, no one's gone in there to move stuff. And they're like, oh shit, it's all still there. Like, in a way that is fundamentally so unlikely that it wasn't even a possibility of it being okay. And the fact that it is just makes them feel so refreshed that some things are still just as they left it.
Yeah. So the board details like plans to convert this high school into a community center. And there are like lists of amenities and like how the space is going to be used. But most of the people who are milling around right now don't look like they're construction workers. They just look like they're volunteers. And I like the idea that somebody comes up to you and asks if you've come to volunteer to help out with the like specking out of the space and moving some boxes and things.
Oh, yeah, I think Joe will respond if you want to roleplay this out.
Yeah, sure. Let's actually say, because we already have a character that I think makes sense here. It's Leslie, who you recognize as one of the people who was victimized by Quentin. But she's just kind of cruising around, and she's pulling like desks and things that are not going to be very useful in the new space out, and she's got a little hard hat, and she recognizes you. Oh, you're hey, you're from school. Are you here for the volunteer thing?
Definitely. I heard there was old photography equipment and I'm an expert at that stuff. I definitely don't know how it got there, but someone told me that.
Oh, I don't think we've gone into the photography area yet. Do you think does that stuff keep? Would it like still work?
You know, for whatever reason, normally you need to take care of it, but someone was taking care of it. Yeah, it's just and then Joe looks, because how they normally get into the room is they jump up and like climb into one of the windows. Yeah, it's just up this staircase.
And like Leslie grabs your shoulder before you get going and hands you a hard hat from like a pile. Show me, and we can take some notes on it and make sure that it doesn't end up in the trash with this junk. And you look at what must be the most uncomfortable desks imaginable.
Oh, I remember those desks.
Oh yeah, the like plastic. You've got to slide into it from one side, individual desks. Everyone's favorite.
Yep.
It doesn't even have the under cubby for like shoving your bag into.
It's definitely like sized for people who haven't yet had their growth spurt, even though it's a high school. Yeah. I think Jovan just goes up, shows this room that has been maintained, and I think just has a nice time genuinely volunteering and bantering with this person, and like helps out. I think they stick around a lot longer than they intended. They came here to do something else, but instead they found themselves enjoying something else.
Okay. Well, cool. So, and with that, you've met Leslie, who is Neela's chariot covenant.
Yeah. As for the rivers in the desert, I think there's a moment where, at the end of the day, like there's a part that looks like it's going to be kept. I think it's a wall that, because a lot of this place probably has like practice tags that Jovan has made, but there's a part of the wall that they've been saving for a while. And they find a couple of old spray cans they tucked away, and they just wait until no one's around and just draw a very simple mural of their signature, like the white stylized eye with the wings coming out the side. And then underneath it, the frame of a door, which I think functionally doesn't actually look like anything to most people. It just looks like a wall, but to Jovan and their friends, it almost looks like it's a piece of like fabric you can push through.
Yeah, kind of like a stage curtain almost.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I also like the idea that Leslie's actually gone tagging with your friends, and when she sees, like, as you're walking through, sees like some practice tags, maybe even recognizes something that like Neela threw up in a different location. I was like, are you friends with Neela? Wait, I bet. So they're trying to make this like a cozy community place. I bet if you wanted to, you could do just like a little mural in like the cafeteria area.
I know a spot, actually. And I think that's what leads to that scene. So I guess
Yeah.
Leslie stays and watches the mural at least go up. And I think Jovan actually says at some point, you're cool, so I'll just tell you this. I've kind of been the one coming in here, and the one who maintained the dark room.
And she pats you on the shoulder, trying not to be condescending. When I saw that the developer fluid was still in stock, I suspected as much.
You know, I think I'm the only one who does just photography, and not only that, non-digital photography in our school, so that's fair.
But honestly, going into a school to develop film, I've seen people get up to worse. And we get like a brief flashback to the spot where Leslie and Scott and Neela and Kayla all were like hanging over the edge of like a steel beam by their feet, tagging a certain bridge. All right. Do you have anything else you want to add to that bit?
I don't think so. Not at the moment, but I think Jovan genuinely signs up to volunteer sometimes.
Hell yeah.
And will come and help out. Yeah.
Okay. So that means that Michelle or Tate, you're next up on the docket.
I'm not saying I need to go next, but I kind of want to do Wolf at the Door. And that, yes, you just looked at camera, I'm assuming, just now, because someone made Foxy Fox here, and this is the consequence. Anyways, shout out to my mom, I guess, for this excellent hat. So what I'd love to do is put the work in, but also the other thing I'm going to do is check in with my Covenant. And at least Jazz's hangout move is like things get weird. Like that's it. It's just like things get weird.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going now, I would love to maybe do both at the same time, or just at any time things can start getting weird while I do Wolf at the Door, as our GM would like.
Yeah, give me just a second to flip to my appropriate bits.
I can I can reach you the hangout move if you like.
Let me really quick. If we're gonna do a double scene for you, Michelle,
that's, I think,
do you know what you want to do for your scene?
I was flipping between two options, which is also either Wolf at the Door or check in with a Covenant, but it's check in with either Vandy or Neela.
Okay. Have you got one that you would prefer over the other?
I think it'd be more funny it'd be more interesting if Sushi still needs to be pointed out that they're not quite looking like a cat right now.
Okay, that sounds like a check. Oh, wait, that's Wolf at the Door, isn't it?
Yeah, so they that's something that needs to be. I think that's something that needs to be pointed out to Sushi first before they can do Wolf at the Door.
Okay.
So are you calling in a favor or asking for help?
So that feels like another sort of hey, I need to do something else first. So Sushi.
Okay,
knows
so you wanna check in first, and then you can address Wolf at the Door.
Yeah.
I see. Do you want Neela to point this out, or do you want Vandy to point this out?
That's a good question.
Do you want to do a scene with?
I'm good either way. I'm good either way.
With Leona?
Yeah. Like I've got tons of options for my second thing. So do you?
Yeah, The nice thing about this game and the city moves and everyday actions is you can technically have a lot of them before things start to get bad.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Neela, because Neela just got back from from vacation. Sushi hasn't seen her in a while. Unless I want to cause problems on purpose.
Oh. I mean, go on.
I'm always a fan.
Are those things incompatible? I feel like you can visit Neela and cause problems on purpose.
You know what? Let's do that.
Exactly, damn it.
Oh boy.
Set the stage for us. Where and what is going on?
So, alright, so it is probably early morning. Like, imagine it is just when the sun is about to rise from the horizon, and you just see a cat? I mean, it's got, like, maybe an extra tail. You're not quite sure if the fur is fur or scales. But they're just chilling on and purring on Neela, right on her, right on her chest on the bed, and just sort of, like, has just appeared there.
What does the purring sound like?
It's like a...
What? So it's not
So
quite.
it's chirpy.
It's not quite.
Not
quite
quite.
regular
A little
purring.
chirpy and melodic.
A little chirping. And it's still morning, so I think Neela is. I'm gonna say Neela is like half awake, half asleep because like jet lag is a thing. From in your face.
I have had so many experiences with jet lag.
And I think she like realizes that there's suddenly a not quite cat presence in her room, and she kind of like peeks an eye open. She's like, "Oh, Sushi, it's you. Are you okay?"
I'm fine. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to see you. And she'll like lean over to give scritches. You look and sound a little different though. Yeah, that don't sound right. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
No.
Okay, hold on. She like rolls over, grabs her phone, like takes a picture of Sushi, and then like pulls out the picture and shows it so Sushi. And she's like, "See what I'm saying?" No, look at the picture. The picture of you, Sushi. You have scales. Or fur, hair, scales? Some?
There's like onion feathers in there too, I imagine.
Feathers?
It's like trying really hard to be fur.
You just see
You
Sushi sort of like look at the phone, look at their tail, like start like grooming, and then sort of like turn. You know where a pet chases their tail?
Yeah.
They see the other tail, like they catch one tail and they try to grab the other one, but then they start chasing the other one. That's like, oh, wait, I didn't have. When did I have two tails?
Yeah, you never had two tails before, Sushi. That's what I'm saying.
It's like, are you sure it's another tail? Did not like, and Sushi like sort of like looks up at you. You're not.
Points at the picture.
That's new.
Yeah. She like zooms in on the tail to like show it.
Right.
A red circle around it and an arrow.
Yeah.
You're
You're looking a little different, Sushi. That's all I'm saying. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying you're not looking like an Aristocat, and that might mean that you don't get to walk through the streets without notice. You know?
Oh.
But does it at least look good?
This is, I think, a good time to talk about triggering Neela's hangout move.
Thank you. I was gonna get there.
Okay. Which, as a reminder, is you give Sushi something impractical but important: a book, an accessory, a plant. I think that's supposed to be a potted plant.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
pot
cannabis
plant.
is impractical but important.
What would it be, a hangout move or a city move?
No. That's the hangout move. The city move is oh, hold on.
Do you see what I mean about the gardener?
It says when you meet with a rebel, trigger their hangout move.
Oh, okay.
The city move is something that you can do
In the city.
when you are doing city life stuff.
But when as the gardener, when I check in with a rebel, my city move is I can refresh one of their gauges. Do you see my problem?
Oh, you get to do both then.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. What is something that Sushi would draw strength from? Would Sushi like a hand mirror?
You know, I mean, Sushi's not sure what they do with the hand mirror, but
I have
hey,
a
it would be helpful.
I have a stupid suggestion.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cat clothes. Because like if you look weird,
Yeah.
and it would be practical for you to hide the weird.
Yeah.
And cats hate wearing clothes. I feel like that gives you like this really fun balance between like as long as you keep it, you draw strength from it. But also you gotta wear the sweater. You gotta wear the cute sweater.
The benefit to Sushi will be that once per investigation, you may turn a missed city move into a weak hit. So it is worth it for Sushi to wear the Christmas sweater, the cat Christmas sweater that she's about to give you.
Oh no!
I also like the idea that it's maybe a matching jacket to the one that you wear.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes, wait, because she went to India. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Neela,
Do it.
after finishing pointing at the damn thing, jumps out of bed because she's not awake. She's not asleep anymore as it is. She goes, I got you a present when I was in India. Hold on. And she like opens up her suitcase, rummages around, and pulls out an outfit. It's in the exact same fabric as her jacket. And she goes, I got you a matching one. It's for you.
Sushi is like looking at the fabric and is just sort of like, and at the same time like doesn't know how to say like I don't really want it. It's uncomfortable.
Okay, but Sushi, you don't look like yourself right now, so it's actually better for you to wear this because this will hide all of the stuff. Like it's got a little bit of extra stuff on the back end too, so it'll hide your extra tail. Please.
Like Sushi like sort of like walks like right up to you, brushes against your leg, just sort of like, well, okay, if it's for you.
Thank you. And it is also for you because we need to make sure you look cat-like if you're gonna go wandering through the streets. I don't know how to get you back to looking like a normal cat.
It's like,
What is that, Vernon?
Oh, this is what cats look like to me when they do when they have clothes.
Especially when they
put on
first
them.
put it on. It just like limbs straight out,
Yeah.
That is just,
neck as little as possible.
It's made a very soft fabric. She's done her best to pick something nice. And it is important that Sushi look like a normal cat if Sushi's gonna do the sushi thing. So she will help Sushi put on the little jacket and she'll zip it up for Sushi and she'll be like, oh my god, it's so cute, and she absolutely will take a picture. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
I will also grow protective, taking lasting disadvantage the next time Sushi is hurt until I can tend to them. Because something
So
seems janky.
appropriate for this coat. And I absolutely would love this scene just for the sudden realization that Neela would have, like, I have a cat jacket to give this cat out of nowhere. So good.
It's so good. So yes, I will, for the city move part of the gardener, I will grow protective, and now Sushi has a jacket. It gives you the ability to once per investigation, you may turn a missed city move into a weak hit. Ta-da!
finally, as a part of your city move, you may refresh one of Sushi's gauges. Sushi, is there any gauge in particular you would like refreshed?
Mayhap, heat. Sushi is currently taking a lot of heat right now to just from being, not looking like a cat
For
right
those of
now.
us who can't see her card, what
That
kind
seems
of
fair.
The heat on Sushi is currently at 1 black mark and 3 ticks
Whoa.
for a total of 4. Yeah, that's a great gauge to refresh right now.
Let's fix that right now.
Yeah, so let's oh yeah, just like that. So now we take off one of the tick marks, and we're down to 3 heat with 1 permanent mark.
All right. And I
Okay,
guess
Sushi, you get to trigger your hangout move as well.
Yep. Which is the star. So I'll say what I'm basically Sushi's going to, I guess, is going to, after getting like shoved into this jacket, is
gently placed.
Gently.
gently shoved into the jacket, is I
Yeah.
guess. Oh, sorry. Okay. Is going to sort of pull out from, I guess, like there's like feathers being ruffed by this jacket, and they're just gonna like pull out from their shoulder, right? This like a new sort of like almost like a dream catcher kind of look, and they're gonna you know, it's like they're hanging it, and they get a little distracted to like paw at the feathers that it looks like some of them have actually just been pulled straight out of their ruff, and it just goes, right, they toss it over at Neela.
I'm imagining a cat throwing something, and given the way their paws work, I can only imagine it looking like a little cat LeBron move.
It's like,
Little layup.
I've been
I love
working
it.
on a little something for Vandy.
Ooh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks. There looks to be some sort of like, you know, shifting fabric and sort of cool, I guess, not really pastel colors, but sort of like, you know, bright, vibrant, like, I guess more of Neela's palette, I guess, but like in more blues and greens and violets. And there's little crystals glimmering, just dropping down, and Sushi just is. I don't know. The last I saw Vandy, they looked a little bit stressed, and you know, I don't know what do you think of this?
I love it. It's beautiful. I think Vandy's gonna be overjoyed by this. Are you kidding me? It's so sweet of you.
Is that your honest opinion?
Yes.
And tell us about how it makes you feel about your place in the world.
Ooh, yes, that is my honest opinion because I love everything that Sushi does, and also these colors genuinely appeal to me, and like the fact that this is something wondrous that Sushi has made is just amazing. How does it make me feel about my place in the world? I feel like it fills me with wonder and optimism. Like, Neela's brain is already in prepare mode. Like, you know, she's stalking the hangout with. I'm alluding to another thing that is part of the things that we had planned for Neela, where she's like stalking the hideout with extra supplies and stuff. And the fact that Sushi is also doing a good thing for Vanda is like really like just like heartwarming and joyful. Like, it's so nice. It's very cat of Sushi to be like, here, I made you a nice thing. Like, it's nice. So yeah, she feels good about it.
Do you feel grounded in the world and feeling like the community that you're building here matters, or do you feel grounded in the void and the wonder of the powers that you've connected to beyond human imaginings?
I'm gonna argue void actually because of like Sushi and Vanda and like that connection to the void and like the hangout space also being in the void. Like it just feels like it's the wonderness of the void and of magic more so than the groundedness of the world, I think.
Great. I love that. Go ahead and mark void.
Okay.
All right. Now,
That's 5 ticks. I gotta put my 1 rank back in void.
So Sushi, you triggered this move. I need you to check against fealty.
Okay. We're gonna roll that one. A weak hit.
Okay, so on a hit, you can pick one of the following. One of you heals a condition. One of you intensifies your crew covenant.
Let's go with intensifying crew covenants.
Okay, so who is going to intensify their crew covenant? Because it can't be both of you.
Let's go with Neela.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't have any conditions, so that makes sense. So my crew covenant is no longer faded. It is bright.
Yes, it is bright.
Okay. My crew covenant is bright. Thank you.
All right. I think this is going to be a good spot for all of us to take a quick break, get our stretch on, do your cat stretches. Remember, pause forward, but up. And we will see you all in a few minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The World Within You on Neon Lights Roleplay. Normally, during this part of the show, we come to you hat in hand on behalf of a charity or other organization that we want to point attention to. This evening, we are making up for lost time, given the ongoing and escalating situation in the Gaza Strip and Israel and the West Bank. We, as an organization, I think I can say this on behalf of the organization, we stand with Palestinians, and we are calling for a ceasefire and encouraging you, instead of spending your money on a charity during this stream, to go out and make a plan to get in touch with your congresspeople and send messages directly to President Biden calling for a ceasefire. The only way I can think to meaningfully describe what is happening in that part of the world right now is an ethnic cleansing. It is the correct term, and a ceasefire needs to happen as soon as possible to save the lives of thousands of innocent people who are being treated like animals. To that end, if you need help figuring out how to get involved, my recommendation is to look at the website for Jewish Voice for Peace. They have tons of resources. They have been leading the charge within the United States on protests and demonstrations and action. So they are a wonderful resource if you are just starting to find ways to get involved. And so we will direct you there through a link in the chat. Thank you, Leona. And with that, thank you for participating in our system of governments. Thank you for making your voice heard and for doing whatever you can to help make sure that innocent people are not suffering. Yeah. I feel like I need to take a quick energy cleanse and play our cut from the top of the show again, so I'm going to do that.
Insert tape 2 to continue listening.
And welcome back to The World Within You. I think it's time that we flip over to our good friend, Tate. What's Jordan up to?
So, I'm going to be doing Wolf at the Door, and it's putting in the work. But to describe this, we're actually backtracking a bit, because the last, few days, probably maybe even just mostly yesterday, Jordan has effectively voluntarily gone through the kind of cramming you do for a final, or at least he does. Way too much caffeine for the entire day, in the books, studying, but studying specifically, how to make social media work. He has been, by magic, literally, gifted a bunch of absolutely rabid social media followers, and he's trying to figure out how to, diffuse that situation. So, the work he has put in is doing the studying for this. He has gone to every, industry resource he can get to without having to pay, and a few that he definitely used 12-foot ladder to get to.
12footladder.io, right?
Yep. You should definitely use it. It's great. Gets you past so many paywalls for important information. Not important for now. So that's really, I think, why, as he is implementing some of these strategies of he's starting to try and reward people who show positive stories and then boost their content and build up is this what I do as a job actually a little bit. He has found these things to try and encourage positive interactions and try and maybe turn his audience into something else. And so at this moment he is walking down the steps and checking in on that, as probably overwhelmed is the condition I would mark to.
Makes sense. You've been taking in a lot of information. You've been working really hard. It's supposed to be your break. You were meant to be, I don't know, skiing, doing snowball fights. Instead, it's wet. It's wet and mild where you live, and you've been wrangling your rabid and adoring fans.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and it's to lead into a more interesting scene. The second action that I wanted to take was to what's it called? Check in, but I'm going to check in with Jazz specifically. I think Jordan is the oldest of 5. The other 3 middle-ish siblings between him and Jazz have already left the house. They're already doing their own thing, or they have made themselves food, and no one has paid attention to Jazz this morning. Both his parents work, obviously. They haven't stopped working. They did not get any vacation either. They leave very early and expect the other 4 siblings to sort of take care of, effectively, the baby child that maybe doesn't need it. So he's going to take some time. There's some leftover coffee cake and clam chowder from the holidays. And he is warming that up for himself and Jazz for breakfast as he sits down at the table. Still kind of half checking social media.
So I think for the audience, the specific description of how the hangout move for the moon works is when you hang out with the moon, anything can happen. It might be a hallucination, a vision, or the world's wonders becoming visible. I think, much in the same way that you are able to connect with the void and enter shards, your sister does what you and the rest of your rebels do with effort without trying. And
yeah,
what happens is I think Jazz, as you're both having this snack and coffee cake, Jazz just says, if it's bothering you, you should just stop doing it.
Takes him a sec. It's what? He's pulling the clam chowder out of the microwave for them. You still have to eat, as much as it's annoying to cook, Jazz.
No! When you were asleep. If you don't like it, you should just stop doing it.
Jordan, like, takes a second. And this is the same child who, like, kinda knew Sushi was more than just a cat way before Sushi looked at, like, this. And I think he has noticed more and more over this vacation, especially as he's the oldest who's being the most responsible of the kids. Has noticed, like, Jazz will just know things or just, like, sort of walk in on places. It's like, how did you even get here? You were upstairs. How are you in the garage now? Stuff like that. I think that he would maybe understand, like, did you see my dream, Jazz?
Silly. But you were having bad dreams, but they're in your control.
Right.
I saw you dreaming. It's not the same thing.
Okay, that's fair.
And
I don't-
what you see when she says this, like if you come back and sit down at the table,
Yeah. Oh yeah, just put it down.
is you see like the kind of walls and stuff around you ripple, and the way that Jazz gets in touch with the void, you see kind of like you know the math lady meme. It's kind of like that,
Yeah.
but it's kids' drawings over things, and you get this like wave of like, of how Jazz sees the world, and as a part of that, you can see that like the part of the castle that you let in is. It has a mantle on you. You realize that Jazz knows exactly what your castle garb looks like, because you can see the traces in crayon of it like over your clothes. But there's this new piece, this mantle that is over your shoulders.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of red quicksilver coat. Has gotten a little longer and is now a like duster, but the sort of mantle part of the duster is markedly different. Like it's not the same quicksilver material.
Yeah, no, it's hard and it's almost chitinous.
And Jordan will take a second and sort of look at that, and other things in the outfit have like updated too. Like the black underclothing is way more stylish. It's got like interesting cuts. There's parts of it are like leather segments and these stripes. At least he thinks like he can look at it and see more detail than it's meant.
Yeah. What is there is this like child's drawing of what you would look like.
Mhm.
And when you focus on it, you can see it in HD, basically.
Yeah.
In 4K, 60
4K.
frames a second.
But yeah, he does sort of stop and think about that, and decides maybe it's better to not like fully. He is just gonna accept it as like she finds this normal. I'm just gonna live in this like weird space where she totally gets everything that's going on, and try not to overreact to make her think like it's a problem. Like I don't want to scare the child, so I am playing along is the wrong word because she's right, but you know, same energy if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'll just-
And as you kind of like let this all seep, she starts doing a drawing, and that same thing that starts of like how she sees the world starts merging into her drawing from places that you can't see, and you see that white flower with the angry red lines coming up from the base of the cone. And you see cameras that are eyeballs all over her drawing. And it's like, as it merges into the page, it becomes a child's drawing of the world. And it doesn't quite look like it means anything anymore. But you know instinctively what her drawing is. What do you do?
I'm gonna commit all of that to memory, and I'm gonna attempt to sort of. I'll just do this in dialogue. Jordan just says, "Well, Jazz, I think that you might be a mite bit better at dreaming than I am. I don't usually control it as well, but I'm trying. Yeah." And he'll take like a bit of his coffee cake, and it's like, "Well, I'm pretty sure I know what the drawing is. Something you learn about art is you have to ask, what does it mean?" And I'll like point out like, here's the flowers and here's the buildings and the eyes. It's like, yeah, art's about what it means. What does this one mean to you?
This one's about a bad guy who wants to look and take over dreams and sees everything. Has eyes on people's pockets and on the grocery store. But he wants to not just look, he wants to see the dreams too.
Trying very hard not to react to how unsettling that is. Jordan's like, well, you know, I feels like maybe I need to get better at dreaming then. We can, me and my friends, I think we can stop him from getting at people's dreams. You're the only one who should do that.
And just no reaction to what you said as you see the reckoning of your figure added to the part of the scene on her piece of paper.
Lots of red. She reaches for the red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I am going to swap a condition as sort of like the effect of that scene. I think that I was cowed, like I was just sort of very intimidated by the whole experience with the reaching into that unfinished world and dealing with Horace and all that. So I think that maybe it's turned to angry, if that makes sense. Like, I have a better idea if something is happening, and I don't really like the sound of it. Bad vibes.
That makes sense. You also, if the Covenant is currently faded, you can mark World to intensify it.
And I will do that, because it was faded. And as a little bit of flavor, I think, because I got a new rank in World, so I get a thing. Jordan often has like something to fidget with. It's just like a habit of his. And I think his favorite is actually coins. Like he likes to try and do like fitting through your hand coin tricks or like flipping it or whatever. He takes one out of his pocket as he's like souping out chowder. And the moment before he flips it, there's just this like extremely distinct, clear as a bell, it's gonna be heads. And he flicks it. And like holds out his hand and doesn't even look at it, just lands, and he looks and it's heads. Because that's the world advance I picked, is that shuffle decks, flip coins, roll dice will tell you the result they expect to get before anyone else knows.
I like that.
And he just, See.
Yeah. I have a thing I'm trying to type to the group, and I'm figuring out how to phrase it. But we'll put that on pause in my noggin zone. Gang, who would like to go next? All right, Milan, Jovan, take it away.
All right. I think very similarly, Jovan's got a very intense crisis going on, so it has to be Wolf at the door. I don't know exactly how this manifests. I feel like this, because all this is not happening over the course of the same day. I'm assuming this is a couple days' time.
Yeah, you have, think about it as like, it's as much or as little time as we need. And some of this may even, depending on the character, take place during like the winter break, right?
Yeah, well,
I did that a little bit.
I was a little busy during that time, but yes, I think over the next week after winter break, the wolf at the door is I'm gonna put in the work, in particular because this particular crisis is, yes, I'm under scrutiny, but I think in particular Jovan needs to perform in a way that is not going to continue to get worse. I think there was maybe a deal worked out to do some of the missed work from this entire year, basically, in exchange for what happened and basically the work that I missed on account of being missing, and then in addition it was negotiated I could also potentially do some of the other stuff. So I think this week, Jovan basically buckles down and just does more homework than a person should ever do at one point in time, and is staying up probably really, really late, just filling in worksheets and writing papers, doing anything for extra credit to make sure that they get through.
Okay, so you're putting in the work. You're it's homework that and like project stuff that is kind of weighing on you from like ages ago. Where do you go to get this work done? And what does it feel like in montage, and how does that leave Jovan feeling?
Honestly, I think if you look at it from a montage perspective, no matter what that scene is, there's just writing being scribbled into a notebook or another. But primarily, I think they stay after school a little bit, a lot. They end up staying around, like they want to appear like they're taking it seriously, because they are taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And they also are probably asking for extra help if possible from some of the teachers or other people.
I like the idea that you know the writing girl from like Chilled Cow. It's that posture of like bent over the desk, right, flip, right. But we get like this on beat change with the music every couple of seconds of the environs snapping by. And it's day, night, library, classroom, monotonous in how much you are doing. Also, I found out that the Chilled Cow writing girl, I'm pretty sure that is what's it called when you trace animation? There's a word for that.
Tracing?
Rotoscope?
Rotoscope. I'm pretty sure it's a rotoscope of a Ghibli movie, specifically
nice.
Whisper of the Heart.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, random fact for you, maybe fact. It's a rock fact potentially.
It's a rock fact. But I definitely think overwhelmed is the condition I'm going to mark there.
I love that. Okay, yeah.
Why do we both study ourselves into being overwhelmed?
I feel
Or is
like
it just you're studying?
I feel like that's real. Sometimes you're studying and then all of a sudden you're like, too much, my brain too full.
Sometimes you're starting on the first lesson of biology and the last lesson of biology at the same time.
Cool. So I think I don't think there's anything else that I want to highlight with that. It's a pretty straightforward move. Excuse me. Unless Milan, you have something else you want to add before we hand the camera away.
Is it perhaps a time to introduce the actual aspect of the crisis now?
Yes. Tell us about it.
I think it sounded
you're
like you
asking
had.
me? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I think.
I have a thing. We're saving it.
Got it. Glad to hear
yes.
that.
Sorry to say. You're the nightcap again. Okay, so then Leona or Michelle, you each have one more scene that you can do before we tick the gauge and move things along. Who would like to go
I have mine
first?
ready if you want.
Great. Let's
I
do it.
don't know if Michelle is still thinking or if Michelle is ready. I'm just checking it.
I think we already decided on what it is, so it's up to you. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I feel like mine's
Because
pretty quick,
we didn't mean-
so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna maybe if it's cool with you, I'll just get it out of the way. But I think for my second move, I would like to check in with Angel because it's been a hot second and I need to fix that covenant real quick.
Love that. So you're checking in with Angel. What does that look like?
I think she's gonna.
They're
Take
a
him-
major covenant right now, right?
Yeah, and major covenant, but faded. I think she's gonna take him on a date. Like it's been a hot second since they've had a date.
What sort of a date?
Probably something really casual and chill. I feel like Angel doesn't want anything too extravagant. And I feel like that's also not necessarily Neela's style. Maybe they just go get dinner somewhere and then they just like I think they're both the sort of humans where their love language is just like spending time. So it's like, let's go
So-
get dinner. Let's just spend time, you know?
What I'm imagining like a teenage food court and then hit like the thrift shop, the half price books.
Yeah.
Just like meandering the not like the upscale mall in the area, but like the shopping area that's like next to the university.
Yeah. Well, and duh,
The
like
third
anything
best
that's like
mall.
vintage or thrifted is always better. Like they're very much pro that. You know?
Yeah. Pro reuse.
Small people talking
Pro
about
reuse.
rehabilitating that. mall.
Yeah.
What's the food? Let me know if you need ideas.
Yeah, I need ideas. I'm
Uh,
not that fast on that one.
So I'm just basing this off of the university district where I live. There's divey burgers. There's bubble tea places. There's like Lebanese food from a little window cut
Oh
out.
my god.
And there's a what's the
I
last
feel
one?
like
There's like a
between-
Chinese place where you can get like the styrofoam to go boxes.
I feel like because it's a date, I feel like they're being adventurous and they're going for the Lebanese food. Because I feel like burgers is a normal thing that they do, but like this is a little bit fancier, you know?
Yeah. So you truck out of there with your falafel, your baba ganoush,
Yeah.
etc. Cool.
Which is absolutely delightful to Neela because this is food that she's familiar with as a South Asian person. So it's just like, you know, like she's just chattering away to Angel about, oh, this and that and the other thing. And, you know,
yeah,
being excited and happy about it.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
Uh-oh. That's not a good thing to hear your GM say.
No. When you spend time with the lover, ask them, "What do you love most about me?" When you act in line with the vision of you they see, roll with fleeting advantage.
Ooh. Ooh. I think as they're like walking between different shops, like I think she kind of just like grabs Angel's hand and like points out the things that she has noticed ever since she's gotten back into town, like the changes in the homeless camps and like the shifting of the skyline. She's like, honestly, I wasn't even gone that long. It just feels like a storm is brewing, you know? Like, I know this sounds kind of nuts, but like, I've been stocking up on supplies because I just feel like more people are gonna need stuff.
I've seen the
storing it
cops
away.
around our neighborhood way more often recently.
Yeah, that too, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. something feels weird in Angel. I'm worried that I'm gonna get busy taking care of people, and I don't want you to resent me for that. But it just feels like something is gonna happen, and I might be harder to get a hold of. But I promise I'll be okay. But like,
is it okay if Angel interrupts your anxiety with a smooch?
yes,
So that happens.
yes.
And kind of like fiddling with your hair, caressing seems
I
like
feel
the
you.
right word.
I hear you.
Yeah, playing with like a strand of your hair and sort of holding the back of your head. Angel says, I don't want you to worry about doing the things that make you shine. When you connect people and bring different people into your world and into your way of thinking, they're the better for it, and so are you. And if you've got to take care of people, let me know how I can help.
You're the best, Angel. Thank you. And she'll hug him.
And there's a big squeeze. And it's at that moment that Angel's like, wait, look, that book. And you cruise on into the used bookshop and end up looking through like the old murder mysteries from like
Oh,
the 70s and 80s.
oh yes. Love that.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that? You need to mark world and intensify the covenant if it was fated.
Ooh, okay. And I guess the fleeting advantage is on connecting people, would you say?
Yes. Connecting people or connecting people to your network.
Got it.
Getting people involved with the revolution is, I think, one of the ways you could interpret that.
Cool. Love it. I'm gonna mark that as Bray. And gain a tick in world, you said?
Yeah, taking world.
Oh my god, I'm just ranking up in all of the things today. Oh, that's 2 ticks in world now, guys. 2 ranks in world.
Be cautious of getting too high a level.
Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous about this. Whew. All right, duly noted.
All right. Let's flip on over to Sushi.
Alright, so... Wow, we had a lot of people who are doing wolf at the door today, but,
I'll have brand new things to deal with.
We will have brand new things to do, hopefully, if that is what happens, because I think Sushi is currently in a... So Sushi's gonna put in the work for this one. And I think they're like... So they're very tempted to, I guess, you know, go over to Angel or maybe like, you know, one of the other rebels and just be like, hey, I need some help. But what Sushi actually does though instead is just walk around the city and just observe. Getting in touch more with the feeling of hunger, the feeling of the real world, as opposed to the various places that they've been hanging out in the void instead. Sushi just takes the time to walk around the city, actually deliberately decides not to go visit Neela and get some food, and more just sort of like feels that sort of hunger again. It also takes the time to just, I guess, observe how people look at Sushi. Like you'll see like Sushi sort of like stalk out of an alleyway and see how people react to them, looking like almost like a half-feral cat.
A half-feral cat in a jacket?
In a jacket.
Are you wearing the jacket?
still in the jacket. I'm
Nice.
like, I just like, can you like, but also like, you know, like, so Sushi is not only like just being like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm wearing this, sort of like feeling a little bit insecure right now, so I will be marking like insecurity, but also just like, and seeing like other cats, like you know those alley cats, the city has like a bajillion alley cats all over the place. Just seeing how they react to Sushi, and a lot of them just sort of like look at Sushi and run away.
You're not sure whether it's because you don't smell right anymore, or because you look too tame for them.
Yeah.
I think on the other hand, one of the things that you find as you like walk the city and you get in touch with your senses and you're like sensing the hunger is you do find one of these freshly displaced encampments. And the people there, the folks who have the attention to spare to you, treat you really well. Like they're excited to see a cat in a little jacket walking around, and I assume Sushi is very friendly to anybody who gives them the time of day.
Yeah, just plops
Yeah.
right, like just walks right up to them. Definitely is responding to what they say, sort of like the "Hi here, kitty kitty," instead of ignoring them flat out when they get meows. People meows.
Yeah. And I think, yeah. So as a part of that, like you get hand fed some morsels. But kind of towards the end of your time there, you everybody suddenly goes quiet as a siren spins up about a block away, and you see a couple of people reach for bags out of their tents, getting ready to move immediately, afraid that the cops are going to show up and force them out again. So, would you say you were putting in the work here?
Yeah.
Okay. What condition you're marking?
I put down insecure.
Insecure.
Sort of like feeling
Okay.
like, hey, I'm not. This is...
Where do I fit? Yeah, that makes sense. Anything else you want out of that scene before we scoot on?
I mean, I guess maybe for a little bit for flavor, you sort of, like, as the sirens sort of, like, drive by, you see just a whole bunch of the alley cats. They, like, make their way around, sort of, some of them heading a little bit towards the camp, but they're making a wide berth around where Sushi is.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sort of like they're not sure they're welcome there, but they're definitely half feral. They're definitely like maybe about to scratch someone, and that would not be good for anyone there. But they've been attracted by like the smell of food.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think with that, we're going to fade away. And, trying to figure out if this is the right tune. Yeah. Okay. Siobhan!
Yes.
Tell me, one day after school, you take a detour off of your normal route, between maybe school and the library or something, for like totally mundane purposes. Where do you go?
I think Jovan goes to a convenience store.
Perfect. So you are walking into the convenience store, and we see this first. We're looking at a camera, and then the camera is looking at you. We see cell phones that have watched you walk in. We see you from the perspective of the camera behind the desk, where the like clerk's camera on their phone sees you, and all of a sudden there's a siren outside, and the door opens, and an officer kind of comes up to you and says, "Hey, have you been coming to this convenience store recently?"
I mean, yeah, I pass by it sometimes after
Come
school.
with me.
Sorry, what?
You're Jovan, yeah? Come
Yeah?
with me.
Can I ask why?
We have you on camera shoplifting from the store.
Wait, hold
And
on.
the guy behind the desk, like, gets up as... No. Sir, this young man has been flagged by our system. We're pretty sure it's him. And the convenience store owner, you probably know. I don't have a name off the top of my head. But they're like, I'm sorry. We'll go through the tapes. You can't just... And the officer is just like really insistent that you go with them. What do you do?
Yeah. Jovan obviously knows that, like, there are certain things about this that are not okay, but also this situation is like, I'm just, whatever. I'm following this person. I leave the gum I was gonna buy on the counter, and I just follow the cop.
Who sees Jovan leaving?
Presumably the officer and...
No. I mean of the rest of the
Oh.
I mean, I think Jordan would be interesting to... He saw him go in, and he's like, oh, hey, I haven't seen him around in a while. Like, he doesn't know that he's back yet, even.
Yeah, cop car rolls up. Cop gets out. Door opens. Like, a few seconds later, as you kind of walk up, out comes Jovan and the officer.
Jordan's gonna get out his camera and cord and directly ask, Officer, what's he being arrested for?
Not sure that's any of your business. We're just gonna run down to the station. We're gonna check things out. And that's directed purely at Jovan.
I would actually... I'd like to connect with this guy to try and prove to him that I'm worth paying attention to.
If you're convincing them that you're worth their
move.
time, check against infamy. And actually, since you're fresh on the dream zone, do you want advantage on this as part of your influence under the castle?
I'm not exactly sure how I get that, but yeah, I'd love to.
It should be an option when you roll to check for advantage.
I didn't.
Got a strong hit.
I still got a strong hit, so at this point, I don't know it's a reason to roll again.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, it's very much a... Well, Sir is a concerned, responsible citizen who wants to be more involved in politics and happens to have a large following about political and social issues.
God.
I would love to know, just generally in a non-confrontation, like, he's going in on this, like, as hard as a scrawny-looking, like, 15-year-old kid can.
Jovan, what are you doing? How do you feel about Jordan getting involved?
Ooh, for the record, I would think if this has been a few days, I would have at least texted the group and been like, hey, I'm back. I'm super
Yeah, I
busy
think-
the next week. Yeah.
I
And
guess
you
I
have
should've
seen
meant
me
that
at school.
He knows you're here, and he saw you at school. It's like I haven't had a chance to hang out with him. I haven't.
Yeah.
I also think Jordan just is kind of forgetful enough. He's like, all right, I haven't like talked to you in a long time. Like, he has no sense of that kind of time. Anyway, but sorry.
I think Jovan is like a little pissed, to be honest, because you're kind of just aggravating the cop that's basically detaining me, and that I'm the one who's gonna have to deal with the fallout when we get back to the station.
Do you say anything?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Not in this scenario.
And, on the strong hit, and I'm so glad I got the strong hit, the two I'm gonna pick is doesn't cause you immediate problems, and they spend some time focused only on you.
Wait, you said you wanted
I'm not
to
really trying to.
connect. Didn't
Oh,
you?
sorry, yeah, not make a stand, connect. I looked at the wrong one, sorry.
Yeah. So, you get a chance to make your case. They'll answer a few questions or do a minor favor, risk their own standing, or you can pick one from the list.
Yeah, I just want to have him reveal more than they normally would. Because I'm trying very hard not to really rustle any jimmies. I'm not shaking this guy. I'm just trying to learn a bit about what's going on.
Look, kid, we have an automated system that is hooked into some of the security cameras. We're doing a test of this new system, and it flagged your friend as somebody who has recently committed a crime. We're running it against facial recognition databases, and we're going to take him down to the station just to make sure everything's okay. Does that sound good to you? He's not under arrest, but we are going to detain him.
At the mention of cameras, Jordan is trying very hard not to make an effort to, like, hide from cameras, but now he's suddenly deeply aware of them after the dream and jazzing out this. And he's like, oh, I'm just acting as a concerned citizen who likes to know more about local politics. You have a good day, sir. I'm just glad this is all on the up and up. Goodbye. And just out.
Okay. Do you do anything else, Jovan?
Not until we get to the station.
Okay. So, montage, we get to the station, and you're kind of kept in a waiting room. You're not detained, but they say don't go anywhere while we run things through. Moments after you're sat down, another officer brings in the guy that Jordan had seen in his dream. You don't know this, obviously. The only thing that is like, we got the guy from the cameras, the one that was shoplifting. No. I got the guy who was shoplifting. He's right here.
Can I ask something? What's the date of the incident? Because I got back in town 2 days ago.
And the officers turn to you to say something dismissive, like, it was a week ago. And then, like, as they look at each other, go get Adam. And there's kind of like a shuffling going on as you're basically expected to sit there. And this kind of scrawny, not scrawny. He's kind of like a little bit hunched. He's somebody who clearly is like a pen pusher here. He's not in uniform. He's in like a collared shirt. Has got like a tie on and some pens in his pocket. Kind of rounds the corner. Cook, there's something wrong with your algorithm. It picked up 2 people for the same incident. Oh. Well, it's a very robust system. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. These 2 were both flagged off of our dash cams. Well, I'll take a look, but if it's flagged both of them, maybe it's just not linking them to the correct incidents. I'll take another look at that. And for a moment, as he turns and looks at you, you see his sort of like energy shift, and you see through his mundane persona to what you can only describe as like a sci-fi cowboy. He's got a low hat, he's got a sheriff's star, and he's got a gun on his hip that is a computer at the back instead of a handle. And he kind of looks at you, and he strokes his chin. And then it's over. And he turns and goes back to his office. Ultimately, it comes to nothing. They check. You were falsely flagged. You don't even look like the other guy who was brought in. Except maybe in the predictable way. You know what I'm getting at?
Yep.
And you're left to go. The person that you've had the most contact at the police station says you probably actually have a caseworker working in the same building, and your caseworker comes out and is like, "This is bullshit. I'll make sure this isn't on your record."
Thanks.
Do you want to make use of the moment in the station for anything else before we call it?
I guess I'll ask the caseworker. Sorry, I've been gone. What's this whole deal with this new camera algorithm thingy that this guy's talking about?
It's a data analyst's pet project. Adam Cook. He thinks numbers are going to solve the world. I think that's where we fade to black.
And Jordan breaks up out of bed. Waking No. I'm just gonna do that bit now randomly, I think.
And I think with that, that's where we'll end tonight's episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and turning in to the world within you. We are always actually playing Voidheart Symphony by Minerva McJanda with our own spray paint splattered and bass boosted twist on it. One thing I want to shout out before we get too far is if you go to our Discord at Neon Lights Roleplay, you can find playlists of most of the music used on this show for Epidemic Sound and Spotify. People have asked for that, so it is available.
Actually, this song, I want it now.
This one specifically is called "We All Bleed the Same Blood." I bet you can find it on Spotify. I'm gonna say that now with outrageous confidence.
The only kind of confidence to have.
Yeah, and so with our night coming to a close before the next week of games events, let's send it to our top left with Leona. We'll go out in the opposite order that we came in.
Oh yeah, hello, my name is Leona. You can find me on the internet at the Leona Maple. Twitter still remains the best place to find me. Follow me, keep up with what on earth it is that I'm doing, or mycard.co. But we'll see about that. Yeah, I don't know what to say, other than I have been your girl Neela, who is nervous, but preparing for the storm, and it is so good to be back. And yeah, that's all I got. Be good.
And let's send it down to Milan.
Hey, I'm Milan, also known as Mallard on the internet. I have been playing Jovan, the I guess I never called out my playbook name. I'm the heretic. That's right.
Big
And
reveal.
what is going on? Where's this mysterious trip they just got back from? Who knows? They matched the description of something for sure. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just pass it on over. I don't have anything to shout out at the moment, so one of the ways.
I fully skipped Michelle. That's my bad. The camera order is not the same. Michelle, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I played Sushi, our local cat Eldritch Abomination, who is also playing with the playbook The Inhuman.
Almost, but not quite a cat.
Not quite a cat. They're a cat. Okay. Well, anyways, you can find me here, just here, for a whole bunch of things. The next thing will be the Blades Will? Question mark? We'll see. I'm trying something new with trying to help out if anyone is interested in joining our rotating one-shot campaign to help bring in some new characters before we kick off our next arc. So look out for that. Otherwise, you can see me here for Stardust Ghosts, as well as by his Shadowed Piece. Next to Tate.
Well, hi. Hello, Internet. Hello, Twitch. My name is Tate Washburn. You can find me at Tate the Terrific on Twitter, which is pretty much the only place, and it is still Twitter. I will fight you, Elon. I will get in the cage with you. Don't test me. It's Twitter. Anyways, maybe other places, not really important. What's really important is you follow this channel's Twitter, at Neon Lights Our Play. We are also on several other places like that, like Blue Sky and such. But really, you could also join our Discord, where we tend to find new players for things like A Blades Will. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. It's where we get all the players for these kind of games, and it's where we do a bunch of good memes. The Twitter is much funnier than mine, and the Discord is hoppin'. You will only find me next here. There's some other projects coming up that we're going to announce soon that I'll be part of, but this right now is the only official one. So you should come back and watch me play Jordan, the Harlequin, who is going on a real transcendental journey recently, it seems, with all his dreams. So stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. I am Legendary Vermin. Last but not least, I run the ship on this show specifically. I take notes in the background. I doodle little things, and I make trouble. I make so much trouble. They don't even know how much trouble they're in. Let me tell you. This gang, so much trouble. If you want to see more of me on shows, you can catch me this Thursday for Last Transmission, where I am going to be continuing my role as F43, the clone captain of the good ship Empress Shrike, as she tries not to go completely bitty bonkus from exposure to crab people. If you like Dead Space, go check that out. Then next Tuesday, I'm going to be in Camp Runner's Cross once again over on Singularity Roleplay. That is a game for if you like summer camp slasher movies and or seeing queer love bloom. Can love bloom before the slaughter of teenagers at summer camp? It sure can, and it sure has. We're getting closer to the horror every day, gang. Finally, you can always catch this show every 4 weeks on Mondays. And yeah, if you want to see other things that I do, I have games over on itch.io as legendaryvermin.itch.io. Specifically, if you really like Michelle's work on Stardust Ghosts, you can find the game No Amount of Armor on my itch page. There's going to be an update coming for that soon. So keep your ear to the ground. And with that, I think we're ready to call it. Have a good night, fight the good fight, and don't forget to call your representatives. Good night and good luck.
Bye-bye.